Do we know who the participants are? Like, can we see like the list of participants in the Zoom menu gitu?
You should be able to.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's on the right there.
Yeah. Bisa nggak sih?
Kevin, we wait a bit more, or are we good to start? Finn? A little bit, okay.
Wait a bit more, yeah. And we also live on YouTube right now.
Okay.
Ada beberapa participants yang ikut dari tadi pagi. Okay.
Hang on, are we live right now?
Yeah, we are.
Oh gitu.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'll start now. Welcome to Saturday Moot Live presented by the Indonesian Society of International Law. This marathon of webinar was designed to provide a bird's eye perspective of the Jessup competition from the competitors, advisors, and champions' perspective. In this third episode, we will be conversing with a very successful and inspirational group of people over their mooting journey and how that played a part in achieving their career goals. Let's welcome the 2016 Universitas Indonesia Jessup champion team. Before we begin, let's get Tiffany to do a short introduction.
Okay, so like Joy explained, this is the third limb of our full day. Thank you so much everyone for joining us, especially buat yang ikut dari tadi pagi. This is just a very casual thing, so keep casual. A few notes buat participants juga. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them on the Q&A feature. We will get to them as much as we can. So yeah, we are joined today by the 2016 Jessup team from O8. And we're just gonna hear them out basically what it was like for them to moot dengar cerita-cerita mereka. And before we start, do you guys mind if we go around the group and sort of introduce yourselves? Mungkin tell us a bit about what you're currently working on, what's keeping you busy, how are you doing the pandemic ini? We can start from anyone. Yeah.
Ladies first.
Go first. You go. Do you want to just pick a first one?
Sure thing. Let's start with Karina.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Reina. I'm currently a legal consultant in a law firm, SSEK. So that's my job, but we're so yeah, during the pandemic, we're working from home, we just trying to stay busy. Yeah, I guess that's it. What am I doing during the pandemic? What I'm keeping busy is just, I guess, working and catching up. What else do I do? Just, yeah, I guess that's it. Working and reading and I'm doing like a podcast with a friend of mine, but that's just for fun. So that's it. Well,
Hi everyone. I'm Flo. Before the pandemic, I was working as a lawyer in one of the law firms in Jakarta. But just this March, I started my own business. Now I'm a freelance consultant for landscape design. I just started, so it's still very small, but yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. Can we hear from Kak Raul?
Okay. Hi everyone. Go Raul. I'm a now fourth year lawyer at SSEK, same law firm as Reina. I did the Jessup in my last year of university. I thought it was a very good experience, and so hopefully today me, Flo, Reina, and Aldwin will be able to share the good side and the bad side of those experiences with everyone here.
Thank you, Kak. And finally, Kak Aldwin.
Hi everyone, I'm Aldwin. Gua kerja sekarang di law firm di HHP. I did my Jessup twice my second year of law school, and last year my first time of Jessup with these pips. Yeah, hope we can share something useful to you guys today.
I'd also like to mention that we actually have another teammate, Howard, but unable to attend. Currently taking his JD in the States, in Georgetown, and he's also working. So, and it's due to the time difference and his busy schedule, he can't make it. But yeah, just mentioning we have another teammate. There's 5 of us.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for the introduction. Before we get to the more substantive parts of this talk, maybe can I pass this over to Joy to do something fun for a bit?
Okay, let's do the icebreaker now. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to ask a list of questions, and the teammates will show a card of the name of who they think of which teammate would most suit the answer to this question. Most of the questions is who is most likely to, but there are also some that are not who is most likely to. So let's start from the first question. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. First question. Who is the most likely to fall asleep during work hours?
Oh, hang on.
Should we directly show the answer?
Yeah,
I'm just
directly show your
say,
answers.
I'm just gonna say the name is Flo.
Yeah, me too, Flo.
All right. Okay. Next
Can we
question.
just shout it out?
Okay, sure.
or
You
do
guys
we
can
just-
shout it out.
Okay.
Okay. Next question. Who is the in-house parent?
Yeah.
In-house parent.
There is no parent.
There's no parent.
Yeah.
Bang,
That's why
coaches, our coaches are the parents.
Our coaches, yes.
No,
Okay.
no, our
Coaches are mom
coaches.
and dad.
One of the coaches is a parent. The other one is like, I don't know what word would properly describe him, but definitely not a parent though.
Can we check if he's a participant? He's watching this.
Okay. Next question. Who is the most likely to pull a prank on their teammate?
Gua.
Raul, yeah.
Do you guys have a story on that?
Oh.
I'm not sure if we can go into the details of that because I don't think that what actually happened is it's not safe for work. But what happened was basically, well, you know how every now and then you have rifts in you know most moot teams. So there's this one time I pulled a prank on Reina, and basically we didn't speak for like 2 months.
That was going to be one of the questions. Which teammate was most likely to actually give silent treatment to the other teammate? So that answers the question.
But it was only
No.
Raul. Only Raul.
It was only me. No, but then it happened a second time actually. The second time, So the conflict escalated into like the boys versus the girls of the team.
That's not safe for work or webinar.
And what's interesting is one of our dear coaches actually put oil to the fire. I think that part I can tell. Jadi what happened was kayak jadi semuanya pada ngambek-ngambekan nih kan. Jadi kita habis submit memo nih, habis submit memo ke National Administrator. So here we are, about I think it was the 6 of us, including actually one of the advisors who's actually an attendee.
Here.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So we were in the car.
Shout out to
We were joking around gitu. Terus kayak I made a joke gitu. Everyone laughed gitu. But it turns out after apa namanya? After we submitted the memo, we had dinner, and then because we were on Christmas holidays, everyone went home instead of the boot camp. Okay, all of a sudden, okay, when I saw my phone, where is this drama coming from? I'm getting a message from my coach that, hey, one of your team members were not too happy about the joke you made, and so began the rift between boys and girls in the team. I'm not going to joke, but...
Next question. Who is the most likely to miss their exam after an all-nighter? Or has actually like failed a class because of moving?
not failing the class. Howard.
Raul.
I think it's Raul.
Sembarangan. I never failed a class because of Jessup.
Or at least miss an
He
exam?
ditched Jessup for his class. He ditched us for his class.
It's the other way around.
Raul.
The next question should be, who's the most likely untuk memfitnah?
Flow.
Now, next question. Who is the most likely to be the coach's pet?
Howard.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Howard.
Yeah. That was
Not in a bad way though. I mean,
Because
the
he's
stereotype is
another
coach's
coach.
pet is the other people hate him. Enggak sih, actually without Howard kayak I think we wouldn't, kita kayak pasti banyak typo gitu-gitu sih.
Dia kayak half coach, half participant.
He's like a third coach. Because he's done it before, so we rely on him a lot.
Who is the most likely to be scolded by a coach?
I'll do it.
Yeah, me.
Wait, it depends. Who gets scolded for sleeping?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who gets scolded for lying?
And when you guys were traveling together to DC, who out of you is most likely to get lost?
Lost.
Us?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think it
us.
happened, but it has to be the girls. We didn't get lost.
All right. And who spends the most time grooming themselves?
Sorry?
Aldwin.
Who spends the most time grooming themselves?
Not me.
Look at his hair.
Gak gila.
No, didn't you notice like 2 minutes ago he was still touching his hair?
Yeah.
Tanda
Reina tau, Reina.
No. Perfect Johnny Bravo hair, Aldwin.
Well, it looks like Johnny Bravo.
Shots fired.
Next question. Who is the most likely to get hungry?
I think
No one.
No, we don't have that. We don't have a glutton on the team.
Okay. Next question.
it's all of us.
Sorry.
How about a clean freak? Who's
Clean
most
freak.
likely to freak out over cleanliness?
Nobody.
No one.
We're all messy.
No one.
That's why we can live with each other.
Okay. Next question. Who is most likely to or has once made a teammate cry?
Raul.
Anjir. Yeah, it was because the joke I just told you guys about.
And
I
who is
didn't
the
know until
clown?
like 2 weeks ago.
The clown.
The clown is actually one of the coaches, not us. I'm just kidding. We're all clowns.
We're all clowns.
In our own ways, yeah.
And who is most likely to get angry over the simplest thing?
I don't think that. I think that's also one of the coaches, not us.
I feel like there's a story in there somewhere. We've heard about this coach quite a bit. Last
Go
one.
on, Ul.
Ya gitu deh. Kayaknya korban paling seringnya Alvin sih. Not necessarily Alvin, tapi dia orangnya gampang ceplas-ceplos aja kalau ya. Although he doesn't necessarily mean it gitu, tapi kayak orangnya ceplas-ceplos aja. Tapi asik gitu. Bukan yang kayak marah sampai sensi berkepanjangan gitu sih.
Last question. Who has the weirdest working habits and what is it?
What's my habit?
She sleeps like early, but then she wakes up really early as well. And she can work while she's sleeping.
It's weird. It's normal
That's
to
pretty weird.
Yeah, I guess it's Flo, yeah. Yeah.
Probably because I slept on a couch for 6 months.
Sleeps on the couch.
And you use the same unwashed blanket for 6 months.
Yeah.
And can we also mention poo?
Oh yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the poo?
Sorry, Flo. Sorry.
I just have a stuffed animal since I was in my 4th grade, and I really love to use it even until now as my neck pillow. And then one day Aldwin got pissed off, and he suddenly snatched my stuffed animal and put it inside a microwave. I microwaved it for like 15 seconds, I think.
You turned on the microwave.
Oh my God.
All right. Thank you so much for that part of the webinar. Now, can we move on to the next part, Tiffany?
I think this is you, actually.
All right. Okay. So this team is composed of fresh mooters and seasoned mooters with different competitions under their belt. So everyone had their own idea of what would work and what would not work in a team. So what were the assets and drawbacks that the team had to manage through in the beginning of the competition, and how did you guys manage to put together different work habits? Anybody would like to answer that question? Shall I call out names?
Or maybe
Aldwin, sorry?
like if we got this correct, like Raul, before the Jessup, you competed in 2014 IMLAM, yeah?
Yeah.
And with Reina, it's the IHL.
Yeah.
And the fresh mooters, is it both Altwin and Kaflo or?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, maybe let's start with what was that like? You know, what got you started for Aldwin and Kaflo? What prompted you to try the Jessup? And mungkin for Karina and Karol, after having had a taste of mooting, why the shift? Maybe we can start with Aldwin.
Okay, sure. So maybe a little bit of background. I did Jessup itu my 2nd year. At the time, apparently the UI selection was very tough. Not only Ina and Raul yang was selected being a member, but there are other people, ex-mooters from other moot court competition, maybe like, I don't know, IMLAM as well, and various people very experienced in debating competition and MUN as well that also participated in the selection. During that time, I was very certain that I'm not going to make it, but I don't know why I was being selected. But the time I was being selected, I think that shows that I can compete with these people as well. They just have earlier starting point, but does not make me, I don't know, I can say worse than them. The fact that I was being chosen compared to the other ex-mooters that at that time was also registered and participated in the selection. And I think our coaches and team members like Reina and Raul were also very supportive to me and Flo, especially as a fresh mooters, that they also guided us on how to deal with researching issue, pleading part, and as well as drafting memorandum. Yeah, I think I can say the dynamic in our team is very, very good, and that made us one of the toughest and solid team I've ever seen.
Great.
Oh.
Year of uni were you when you actually joined the Jessup team, Aldwin?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What year of uni were you when you actually joined the Jessup team?
It was my second year, third semester. It was 2016, I guess. Yeah, my second year in university.
And how about Kak Flo? Were you the same batch? Older, younger?
No, I'm older than Alvin for a year. So I joined Jessup during my third year. Yeah, for a little bit of background as well, I'm very interested in human rights issues and international law. So initially, I wanted to register for IHL, but I missed the registration phase. So I tried Jessup, which people already said is much tougher than any other moot court competitions. Yeah, for the dynamics, I think the seasoned mooters like Reina, Raul, and Howard, they were very helpful. Like for me, I was in the same claim with Howard, and obviously his experience before in participating in Jessup helped me a lot in making research and drafting the memo. So I just keeping up with his work, and then yeah, I think they were very helpful.
So Kak, the Jessup in your third year, was that your first experience in a competition?
Yes.
Atau sebelumnya?
No, so previously I joined just my campus organizations and ya kayak ikut panitia acara. So I never joined any kayak mooting competition or like debating competition or MUN.
And with that, like what did recruitment feel like? Sort of, was it especially daunting atau justru because you're coming in kind of cold, jadi lebih santai gitu? What was that like?
I thought it was horrible. After I went home after the selection, I went to my family and I was like, nah, I won't make it. And then we were planning for a holiday. I was like, okay, let's just go for a holiday because I won't make it. It was horrible, but yeah, I'm very grateful. The coaches, I don't know why, but they believed in me. So yeah, I was very grateful towards them.
Thank you. And yeah, how about Karina? Do you wanna share your story? I guess. Dari
Okay.
IHL berarti.
Yeah, so I did IHL first on my second year. So our IHL team is it's really different from Jessup in terms of like the team dynamics, but it's also public international law, right? Which is something that like Flo, I'm really interested in, like human rights. So I think when I was in IHL, I've already had this idea like, okay, I want to try the Jessup next. So after I did the IHL, I tried out for Jessup, and luckily I got in with these people. And in a way, it's similar. I mean, we do exams and we do oral stuff, but in terms of the team dynamics, it's different because in IHL it's the three of us, and we don't live together. We just meet up with when we have practice and when we have coaching sessions. But with the Jessup, there's five of us, we live together, a lot more, a lot more hours, and yeah, and it's a really great experience. So I'm really glad I continued on to Jessup.
That's great. And did you continue on to do another thing, or was 2016 your last go at Mooting?
Yeah, that's my last move. After that, I coached IHL. So after I started IHL, and then I Jessup, and then I coached IHL.
I'm sorry, just so you're aware, I think when you talk, Karina, the audio kind of bounces between Flo's thingy and yours. I don't know if everyone is experiencing what I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. The best I can offer is sort of kayak mute gantian or
Okay.
kind of join.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Sorry, thank you. And I think that leaves us with Kak Raul then, from Imlam to the Jessup and to all the years after. What was that like?
Okay, so I didn't think I had a particular advantage when I got accepted into the Jessup team, because as Reina pointed out, especially compared to Imlam, Jessup was a completely different, experience compared. Public international law was a completely different area of law than commercial shipping. So, although maybe I think I did probably have the basics of, research and pleading. When it comes to Jessup, especially, I think this is how it is at UI. There's a different level of expectation from our seniors, and the research itself is, in my experience, it's very extensive. So, and there's so many areas of laws which is actually, a gray area gitu. Jadi I think compared with other moots, the Jessup was the moot that had the most room for, competitive debate and back and forth argumentation. And I think that's what particularly made it challenging for me, and I think also for my team members. So for me, it was a fresh start. I don't think I had any particular advantage for my past moot experience, because even during the initial months of drafting our memo, I think I was still struggling. And I think we only came around actually getting a structure in our memorandum that came close, or was actually the final version that we submitted. I think happened around the last 1 or 2 months. So where I'm getting at is that it's not always as people expect. It's not always straightforward. It's not always as easy as going from A to B. It's a very complicated and enriching process for me. But ultimately, I thought it was a very good experience.
Thank you. I think up next, Joy has a question.
Okay, so we know that the Jessup is a commitment, a long-term commitment, which requires time, effort, and resources. And we know that it's a total of 8 months period. What level of commitment was expected from the university and the Mooting culture in the university towards each team member? If you would like to share, maybe there were sacrifices that needed to be made, or maybe like it lowered down your GPA. How was that like? Maybe we can start from Kaflo.
I think our university is not really involved in the process of coaching and mentoring. So more
How
of like
about sorry,
the
the Mooting community
yeah,
then?
the Mooting community is more involved. So yeah, in terms of commitment, maybe I can say they expect 100% of our commitment and our time. Well, probably not 100%, but like 95%, and the rest 5% is just for our study and our family. But yeah, yeah, we have to give everything. We have to dedicate our weekends. And like, for example, after campus, we have to go directly to our dorm and just do the research directly. Yeah, so in terms of commitment, I would say we have to be very committed in terms of time, effort, resources.
Is that the same for everyone, or does someone else have a different percentage of the commitment?
Yeah, I think it's the same. The only acceptable excuses for not attending practice or doing research was probably a family emergency, or if we were to church time, or final exams week. And even that was, sometimes not a valid excuse.
Yeah, we have to manage our time. We cannot use exams and assignments as excuses.
What was it like day to day in the base camp? Did you guys work from like the afternoon up until the mornings, or how was the working hours like for you guys?
We stayed up pretty late, I guess. Basically, after coming home from campus at about 6 or 7, we would research. I don't know. We don't have like a particular timetable in which we agree. Hey, everyone, we should start doing research at a time and then finish at say 3 o'clock. Everyone sort of. I think we operated basically just to get the job done. Basically, after every practice, we had certain issues that we needed to answer, and we would just continue doing research until we found those answers.
Maybe Karina, you would like to add something?
Yeah. So I think it really depends on our schedules as well. I mean, we kind of work on a basis of like just self-awareness. Like when we're when we're done with classes, we go straight back to the apartment and do research and everything. But I think what we do a lot is after our classes, we usually coordinate our schedules. Like, okay, I have a morning class, I have classes until such time. And then we would either go back to the base camp or we go to our coaches or advisors. We would go to Jakarta because our campus is in Depok, right? So we would like spend like 2 hours in the traffic and then meet our coaches, and that would last until really late at night. And then of course there's like points that we need that our coaches raise that we would need to research more. So that would be we would have to do that research again afterwards, after coming back to our apartments, and then until morning, and then we would have classes again in the morning. So that's basically what we do. And
How
I think
how often does your team meet up with the coaches?
I think 3 times a week. Yeah, 3 times a week. And And we have two different coaches, right? And we have lots of advisors. So it's different coaches every day, and it gets escalated as the competition gets closer. And also weekends. Weekends are also dedicated for Jessup. But every team is different. So if you're thinking of joining the Jessup, I mean, don't get too scared for the prospective participants of the Jessup. I mean, every team dynamic is different, so don't get too scared.
As for working dynamics, did you have a number of people working on the first issue, second issue? Did you guys divide by issues, or did you just work together all at once? So you guys had one person working for. How was the division like?
We divide into claims. I think every year, the coaches would decide on how to divide it. Like sometimes, I think some teams would do respondent versus applicant, but in our year we divided by claims. So we have 4 claims, right, in the Jessup. We have claim 1 and 2 would be handled by Flo and Howard, and then 3 and 4 would be me, Raul, and Aldwin. So we basically master those claims. But as the competition nears, we would need to like discuss with each other and make sure that we all know what's going on in the other claims as well. So, and eventually we all have to research all of it. But at the beginning, it's divided into those claims.
So the oralist of the teams were
Reina, Raul, practically everyone.
No, everyone at
Everyone
the
was-
national rounds.
Everyone.
We all spoke
For
at
the
the national
national
rounds.
rounds, everyone.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, we
And
all
what
had a
was-
chance to speak.
Yeah, I would want to
Well-
ask about this actually, because I personally find it very interesting because we do things quite a bit differently in UPH. Maybe for background for the people yang belum tahu, correct me if I'm wrong, but the OE team has a habit of having a lot of oralists in the national rounds, especially the preliminary rounds, and then it sort of tapers off or not from it. Yeah, and it's long story short, it's a specific way of approaching oral pleadings. Do you mind sort of talking us through what is it like to have a team of where everybody is speaking? Jadi pembagian kerjanya juga it's not as clear as, you know what, you do the research and you feed the oralist. You know, yeah, kind of what was that like? I guess anyone can answer this question.
I guess sebetulnya I think our perception was every moot team, the team members would both write memorandums and plead. Tapi as it turns out, ternyata what happened with us may be odd to some other moot teams. Yeah. So I guess the reason why each of us spoke at the national rounds and then only 3 of us later spoke at the international rounds was because I think our coaches wanted to give us the opportunity to basically have the experience of what it feels like of pleading at a Jessup round. Why only me, Reina, and Howard spoke at the international rounds? I don't know. Those reasons were, were within the full discretion of our coaches.
Also, I think just to add a bit on that, I think one of the reasons also that we were all chosen to speak at the national rounds is we all of us have our different styles, right? So in a way, we complement each other's styles, and that's how I think the coaches also took into consideration, because I mean, there's no one specific perfect way to speak, right? Everyone has their own styles, everyone has their own ways and strengths. So in a way, I think we also complement each other. So I think it was really a great experience to have everyone speaking and switching all of it. Plus, in every practice, we all speak anyway. So I think we were all prepared to just do both oral and written.
I would imagine the practice session being very, very long, having all 5 of you speak in each practice session. Were they long, and how did you guys arrange that?
Oh, we didn't arrange anything. We just went went with whatever was happening, gitu.
So was it
If
like
they told us to
pinpointed by the
happen,
coaches, or?
yeah. If they wanted the practice to last until 3 in the morning, then that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And I have to add, our coaches and advisors are really amazing and dedicated and inspiring.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
they didn't have to. They really, I mean,
Yes.
they're all working in almost all of them are working in law firms, right? So they also have like extremely long hours. So imagine like after a really long day of working, you have to hear these 5 kids just talk about a made up
And almost all of
subject.
them have families. So we would
Exactly,
practice
and they
at
all
their
have families.
apartments or their houses,
Yeah.
making loud noises at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, and so they're really really amazing. So and sometimes they don't mind. I mean, we would stay at their houses or their offices until 2 in the morning. You can hear? What's the latest? 2? Yeah. So and it depends sometimes. But if like they don't, if they can't accommodate like a really long hours for us, then they would just choose, okay, we'll just do this claim today, or we'll just do that claim today. But I think in most sessions we all speak, yeah. I think.
Do you guys
Oh,
have time in between all of this to do internal pleading? So I guess just amongst the team itself. And
Yes,
like,
we did it before the national rounds because we were very nervous. And sometimes we also practice Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is that like? I guess pleading with sesama teammates yang masing-masing juga oralist, jadi mungkin punya sudut pandang sendiri. I guess from my team, for one, I can share that kalau pleading sama teammates sendiri itu more likely to end up in a fight than if it is with the seniors, because you don't really negotiate the comments of the seniors. But I don't know, thinking, was that an experience in your team? Maybe something different?
I personally found it
Yeah.
very hard to hear my teammates' pleadings because it's kind of difficult to think of questions because we have already practiced our Q&A, so I know they can answer these types of questions. So yeah.
I personally feel that substantively pleading in front of your teammates is, I would say, harder than pleading in front of an advisor, because they know all the legal basis, they know all the stance, they know all the structure of our arguments. So one, we cannot make up a fact, or we cannot make up some legal basis. We cannot run away from the legal basis because all of us read the same thing. Yeah, I think it's quite harder, but it's more challenging, I guess.
And I think, but even if it's harder, it's so true what Alduin said. It's a lot more challenging, but it's really, really helpful as well. So which is why before we meet like a new advisor, or before we meet our coach, so that we won't piss our coaches off, we would actually practice first. So we usually do our sessions in the car on the way, because it's like a 2-hour ride to Jakarta on a bad day, right? On a really traffic day. We would practice in the car, and we would like shoot each other questions and answers just to make sure and really prepare ourselves for a training with the coach, so that our coach won't get angry.
Between the 4 of you, or just the 5 of you, between the 5 of you, would you say there's a particular member notorious for being like an exceptionally notorious panelist or judge in these internal sessions?
I think notorious as in a good way, right? Like
Whichever way.
I think I would say Howard, because he's done it before, so he poses like the really questions that we never really expected, like questions that he thinks would definitely come up, and so yeah, I think Howard, I guess, but it's in a good way, the notorious. Most challenging, I guess, yeah. But I don't know if the others have a different opinion.
Howard for me wasn't notoriously challenging, but he was definitely a hype man. And apa yun eh? Howard helped me and Aldwin greatly improved in our pleadings, but not in a way that would kaya make you feel apa namanya merasa merasa dikecilkan gitu.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Tapi he would sort of like hype us up gitu, kayak lu bisa man, lu bisa, we're gonna beat these guys gitu. That's Howard.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't think we have apa namanya a character in the team that you would consider as a devil's advocate that would challenge every single idea. So it's more like when there are certain outstanding questions by the coaches, okay, we would, and this is one of the things I'm thankful for. We would discuss this between ourselves before bringing it to the coaches.
Yeah, exactly. If it's like in that kind of notorious, then we don't have it.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna zoom back out to a more general question here. Throughout this day, we've been hearing from quite a number of universities and their mooting, and we found that their mooting experience is quite tied to the mooting context that exists in each university. And I would think that being from Universitas Indonesia, I'm sorry if you can hear that background noise, by the way. It's apa ya? It's a pretty established mooting tradition with a very good reputation. Coming into your moot, would you say, in what way did it influence expectations of coming into the moot? Yeah, that's the question. In what way did that mooting context influence your expectations coming into the moot? I'm not sure who to single out for this one.
Maybe for me personally, I think, of course, the expectation is very high because the previous teams, they have a lot of achievements, but I was more grateful for the resources and the guidance that the previous mooters have given to us, like all the advices and all of the materials, and yeah, the whole mentoring and coaching session. Personally, for me, it was very, very beneficial and helpful. So yeah, of course, for expectation is very high, but I think it's not that bad. I was more grateful towards the help.
Being a champion team, what was your experience in the Jessup, like in DC in particular? How was it like? Was it different, or did you come in feeling like just a regular team, or did you come in with that extra boost of confidence? How was it like? Anybody?
Particularly for me, very pressured, obviously, because the very first session of our meeting, coaches set a pretty high standard, which not only to win national round, but triumph over the previous Jessup achievement in the international rounds, which means that we need to go beyond octo-finalists, as well as winning several memorandum awards. So at the time we won the national round, I think there were very minimum congratulations from the coaches. That the real battlefield is not here, it's out there in DC. So I guess for me personally, as a new member at that time, it was very burdensome pressure. But I understand that it's a very important pressure to be put on us by the coaches.
Yeah. Does anybody want to add to that?
The international rounds were for me was a complete different atmosphere. I mean, here we're facing the champions and runner-ups from so many different countries. So for me, it was a whole new level of competition. But I think what kept us confident was that our coaches, my team members, I think especially Howard on this, they sort of gave us this, blind confidence, without even looking who. So basically, what they told us, is, we don't care who we're facing in the next round. So I think this sounds probably cheesy and out. This may sound cheesy, but we will always reminded of the quote from Rambo: "One step, one punch, one round at a time." And I think it's these probably silly motivational boosts of confidence that would actually affect your performance, as opposed to rereading through your materials, something that you've gone through for 6-7 months. Because in a few rounds where I did that, it ended up with me actually forgetting some of the stuff I've actually reread. So I think one of the best things to do before a round is to forget about it. Not to forget about your materials, but just don't think about it. So I think that's what really we had to think about these things at the international rounds. We didn't have to think about these things at the national rounds because it was a whole level of competition. And I was happy that I was actually happy that we lost. I'm not saying I'm not happy that we lost at the round of 16s, but I was sad. I wasn't too disappointed because we lost against the team that eventually became the champions. So that was good enough for me.
Yeah, I guess I would ask. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but the international rounds, your team actually ended with being the 7th team in the 7th final team rankings, and octo finalist as well. Also the 9th best combined memorials, right? The Alona Evans Award. And yeah, sort of, would you consider that a success? Okay, how satisfied were you with those results, I guess?
I guess we can't really take all the credit for that because it's not just the 5 of us. It's the 5 of us plus our 2 coaches, plus the multiple advisors. We have, thankfully, we have very seasoned and experienced advisors, who day in and day out contribute their time and energy for us when they don't have to.
So I guess on that, I would ask one last question before passing it over to Joy to wrap up the session. But so this is the 2016 UE Jessup team. It's been several years since then, and I'm sure quite a number of you have returned, if not all of you have returned as coaches. Having said all of these things you said about your coaches, kaya, oh yeah, it's great that they're able to come back and still do it. Can you offer your perspective? Like, if I were to turn the question to you now, like all these years later, why the continued involvement in the Jessup? Like, what drives that?
But this year's coaches?
Yeah, for me, because I love the whole community. Like, I think I got a lot of good things from joining in Jessup, and it makes me feel like I want to give the same opportunity to people who will participate after me. So yeah, because during our year, like we have a really good team dynamics, and we have also experienced the international rounds, and we also had really good rounds with teams from other universities. And yeah, it was a very precious experience for me. So yeah, that kind of feeling that I would like to give also to people who will join Jessup after our team. What about you, Aldwin?
Yeah, same lah, mirip-mirip alasannya. I think the most important reason is I miss the challenge in Jessup that we did not found in the work field, I guess, because international was the minimum when we talk about work field in law firm. There are no discussion about international law, the sense of competition in Jessup. I think I found none of it in my working life. So, and the second reason is that I think I want to give back to the Jessup community, particularly my university, same as my previous coaches.
Are we smiling all on that? Is there anything anybody would like to
I think they said it best.
Yes.
Yeah, and we just want to really give a shout out again to our coaches, because not only did they really helped us, all of our successes we owe it to them, to our team of course, but like to them mostly, because all of the efforts and hours that they put to help us, but they also kind of inspired us and motivated us to also, like Aldwin and Flo said, give back and coach the other teams. I think I would say like it's a family, like it's like a family tradition. Like you learn from the alumni, and then you pass it on. You have this like moral obligation, I guess, to pass it on, and I think that's kind of embedded in us, especially in our university, in our like Mooting community. That's been embedded. So, and I think the only way we can say thank you to our coaches is to do the same and coach other teams.
That's really great. Thank you for that. So yeah, this is where we're supposed to end. Okay, I think our time is udah lewat sih sebenarnya, hampir lewat. But I do think it would be a waste of having all of you here if we didn't ask this question, because this is like there's a wealth of knowledge here. And my question is related to the announcement that Ilsa just made yesterday about how the international rounds this year will be taking on a very different shape. Yeah. Just in brief, what's going to happen is there won't be a national qualifying round. So teams signing up to the Jessup in 2021 will qualify to compete in like a virtual global rounds. And I think that brings with it an opportunity, but also like it's daunting as well. So maybe can we close with what would you say to teams approaching this next competition season? Yeah, we can start with anyone.
Okay,
Win, tadi kan udah siapin jawabannya.
Mana Win?
No, let me start. Okay, I think we should still participate in this year's Jessup, and particularly I would say that Universitas Indonesia team will continue to participate this year, regardless whether it's physical competition in Washington DC or in national round or not, because I think the things that I seek when I joined Jessup at the very first time was not having a holiday in Washington DC. That's for sure. I was looking to have a very great experience, as well as title in my CV for my law career in the future. And I think regardless whether Jessup was conducted online or in physical, when you participated Jessup, especially this year when you are directly proceed to the international round, you have maybe, I would say, privilege for you to write it down in your CV that you have participated in the international rounds of Jessup competition, other than before that you need to first pass the national round. And if I'm the participant for this year, maybe I would say that I'm thankful for the Jessup opportunity to give me maybe a chance to directly proceed to the international round and write it in my CV. That's one of the reason. And second of the reason, I will still have a sense of competition with other teams, especially outside Indonesia directly, and have that experience as well as being judged by notorious judges, experts or ex-Jessups outside Indonesia compared to the previous year. So this year, even though you might not enjoy Washington, D.C. Physically, but the sense of competition and the worthiness of Jessup will still be felt by the individuals participating in this year's Jessup.
If I can add, the topic is also very interesting. And like, yeah, as Aldwin has said, we're gonna meet a lot of good universities that we couldn't meet before, and we can also be adjudicated by judges who cannot come to Washington DC before. So it's gonna be another level of competition, and I think it's pretty exciting.
That's great. Anything else?
On my part, I think I agree with Flo and Aldwin as well. I think for people who are thinking of joining the Jessup, even though it's an online competition, it shouldn't be something you shouldn't be disheartened because it's online, because I think honestly it's still it's an even more amazing opportunity. Like it's something new. And like they said, you'll have the opportunity to go against universities that don't usually advance into the international rounds. Because as I mentioned, there are lots of really great universities that we don't meet at the international rounds. Like for example, I don't know if we've ever met Harvard or Yale or Oxford. And we've always been like wondering like how are their teams, because they're like one of the most prestigious and prominent law schools in the world. So we're always curious about that. And I think by joining this and having it advance to online to international rounds online, you would actually have the opportunity to see them and get a chance to maybe compete against them. And honestly, again, the trip is literally a super tiny part of the whole experience. I think the learning curve, the experience is the process itself. It's not DC. It's not the trip. In fact, I think you would actually feel less burdened because you don't have to find sponsors or residents or book for flight tickets, because that's like a whole other headache, like a whole other issue that you have to deal with. So I mean, with that set aside, you can focus solely on your competition, and yeah, I'm really excited to see how it all would go down. Is it gonna be also like the international rounds? Can we see like the finals? You guys know from the technicals?
No, ILSA has not issued an official statement on that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, nonetheless, it's gonna be fun, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely like a new accessibility to the Jessup mood that wasn't always there before, and I guess that's very exciting. And I guess Karao, do you have anything to add, or are we good on that? Yeah.
Kayak mosquito effect.
Apa coba? No, I think everyone did a good job explaining. I'm just, in my personal opinion, I think judging by this year's Jessup national round here, I think, in my personal opinion, more than 3 teams deserve to compete in DC. And this year offers the opportunity to sort of remove the barrier of, just having 2 teams compete in DC.
Yeah, that's great.
That's great. Thank you so much for today. I think we're going to conclude here. I want to thank you, Kaflo, Karina, Karaul, Aldwin, for being here and for spending a little bit of your time from your Saturday to do this with us. We hope that for all the participants who was here with us today, this was an inspirational and a fun talk for you guys as well. And may it inspire you to join the Jessup next year. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Have a
everyone.
good weekend.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having
Bye-bye.
us. Bye.